everyone. Blessings. It's Jenna again. Welcome to Jenna's Journey. I'm sorry that this video is coming so late tonight, especially considering what I want to talk about, which is my full moon ritual. So, well, first, let me take a deep breath and just tell you that I really appreciate you watching this video and coming to my channel. And please feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you like what you hear. Thank you so much. Okay, so how this all came about was I knew that the full moon and new moon rituals were going to be very near and dear to my heart. And I definitely knew that I wanted to put them on my channel so that the people that I know that probably have no idea about any of this stuff can probably hear it from me and will maybe give it a shot. So on the new moon, which was a couple weeks ago, and of course right now the date is escaping me, but it was towards the end of September. I taped a whole video and I was really proud of it. It was like the first one that I had done technically in my house and with my little setup, and I felt more comfortable, more confident, and my concentration wasn't split because the other videos that I had done up until that point had all been at my work, and obviously I'm there to do a job, so I need to be cognizant of people that are coming in and out, and I'm just kind of like not 100% in what I'm saying. So I say all that to say that I'm still super new to all of this, and it's kind of a learn as you go process for me. So I was trying to export it, and I have a million pictures on my phone, so it said that I didn't have enough storage, and I'm doing all of this on my iPhone if you haven't guessed. So pretty much I went through and deleted, I'm not even exaggerating, like 8,000 photos and videos. And in doing so, it said that it was going to be ready to export. So I figured we were in the clear, right? So I figured that it had uploaded to this other source where then, you upload it to YouTube, but I was wrong. And I ended up deleting the entire video. So I trust that everything happens for a reason, and there was a reason that I wasn't supposed to put that video out. However, tonight, I think this is the order that it should go in because this is where it started for me. So how this all came about, well, I was a devout Christian, is I wanted to go to a medium, psychic, numerologist, all of that stuff in one, right? And my friend at the time wanted to go also. So a girl that we had worked with previously said that she knew a medium that was like absolutely dead on and amazing. So we booked an appointment, and me and this friend went, and it was 7 years ago now, because it was on my 30th birthday. And we basically went in, and everything that this man said was 100% true, but I didn't know yet. So I went in completely blind. He had no idea, who I was. And yeah, well, I'll definitely go and dive deep into this topic because this is where I got a lot of confirmation on my spiritual gifts, I think, but I didn't realize yet. So anyway, his name is Jimmy Bay, and if anybody's interested, I can absolutely, give you his info. I'm sure that he's still thriving because he really is amazing. So he told me at the end of this, reading, and my head was spinning because everything that he had said, the reason that I went was because I needed to, I wanted to hear from my grandma and kind of, be able to heal and let go with love so that I could move on at that point. But I got so much more. So pretty much at the end of all this, he said he could only see my life up until a certain point because I was carrying so much guilt, shame, and I believe he called it funk, which I loved. And actually, this notebook right here is the notebook that, this is a whole set from when me and my mom went. And then the rest of this is from when me and that friend went. So at the end of this, he said to me to do this gut cleansing, that I needed to do this to let things go in my life and clear out all of the shit that I had been carrying, so that way I could be filled up again with, the positive and the things that were supposed to happen next. He talked about past lives. He talked about a bunch of stuff, soul contracts, things that I truly didn't understand at the time. But now I wouldn't say I'm like an expert, but I definitely have more of a grasp on all of those things. And it's just so crazy how the universe works, because it came full circle. And that meeting with him 7 years ago was one of the main things that truly solidified this journey for me, because I knew that all these signs were coming along the way. I just wasn't ready to hear it yet. And when I became fully ready and I surrendered and just let go, is when all of this rushed in and kind of connected the dots. So, moving on to this actual ritual. Now, what I would say first and foremost is, if this is your first time doing anything like this, this is going to be a little bit different for you versus people that have done this before and they're just tweaking their own ritual and kind of like, taking piecemeal from different rituals and making their own. So I have a bunch of stuff here. A lot of it lives here, but I brought this over so that I could kind of, go through what it is that I use for my specific ritual. So the full moon itself, I don't know if any of you can feel it, but I have always been connected to the full moon energy. And funny thing, the term lunatic, back in the day, Luna is lunar, and it was for erratic behavior. So that was where the term lunatic came from. And I can so relate to that because I've always had like this, I guess energy is the best way to describe it, but this unsettled, just like coursing electricity through my veins that I couldn't understand. So if I was like not in a good place at the time, it was a shit show. But if I was in a good place, then all of that energy could be put to, whatever I was focused on in that moment. So it can be a really beautiful and powerful time for manifestation and, setting your intentions. But first, you have to clear out the funk. So basically, all of these tools here are added bonuses. I think you could truly just do this with a candle, a pen and paper, and I mean, you could do this a couple different ways. So let me just get to the basis of what I'm saying here and what the ritual is, and then I'll give you the variations of the different things you can do. So first and foremost, what I would suggest is, I actually picked this up the other day. I have a bunch of other smudge sticks and Palo Santo. I have frankincense. I have regular sage sticks, because for me, I like to clear out the negative energy as often as I feel necessary, but I would say at least once every week. So I do utilize them a lot. But this I thought was really cute and inexpensive, and it comes with 2 Palo Santo sticks. This is a sage, just dried sage leaves, and then it's rolled together. And then you have an abalone shell here, which is a fireproof container that also holds energy itself, and then a feather so that you can waft the smoke to wherever you would like it to go. And I got this at East Meets West. That's in a mall near me, but I'm sure that you can find it online or if there's a store near you. The other thing that I wanted to say is most of these crystals came from Energy Muse, and that was where I found most of the crystals that I started out with, as well as the crystals that I continue to collect. And they have such a beautiful and in-depth layout of different crystals, the intentions behind them, what they work well with, how to cleanse them, how to set the intentions. I mean, really, like, they cover every single basis. So I truly do love Energy Muse. And if you're looking to just get started out, you could literally buy one, little crystal. So you could get something like this. It could be anywhere from like a couple dollars all the way up to like hundreds of dollars. Not for this size, but just in general. It's a very, varied scale price-wise. But all it does is, it harnesses energy, and that's the bottom line. It comes from the earth, and anything that has a charge, I mean, we're all energy, everything carries energy, but this carries a more powerful energy set. So when you have this in your hand, or you're carrying it with you, or you set it somewhere and you're doing a crystal grid, there's so many different uses for it. But if you cleanse it and get rid of any negativity or just any energy in general before you got it, and then you sit with it, and whether you want to call it meditating, whether you want to just sit with it for a couple minutes and just set the intention for that crystal, you'll be amazed at, if you're not into all of this stuff, your logical mind will start to discount all of this stuff as you go along. Like, no, that was going to happen anyway, or, oh, that's a coincidence. I'm here to tell you that there are no coincidences. There are no coincidences. So this is a good way to start out. And I just bought a subscription box to Energy Muse. So it basically comes out once every 3 months. And I think it was like $50, but I'm going to do like an unboxing video when that does come, because everything is so beautifully wrapped, and just it's handled with such love and care that I feel like, I give them all the praise in the world. So look forward to that coming up. I believe that'll be here in like December, but still. So first and foremost, what you would start out with is just think of every single thing holding energy. Okay. Energy can either be low vibrating or it can be very high vibrating. So the low is what people tend to say are negative. The high is positive. And then you have everything in between. So if everything carries energy, then we need to be very aware of setting our sacred space to do any ritual, or even just your home in general. This is the place where we come to relax, where we let our guard down, and, we're just ourselves. And it can truly, I think, change your life and make you value and look at things so much different. If you just take a couple extra minutes and do these small steps, you'll start to see your mind kind of open in different ways, because that's how it started for me. So I'm a testament to all of this. It happened in baby steps. But at that point, when you are about to do a ritual, even though you will probably feel nuts in the beginning, because, you're doing something that you're uncomfortable with, but please keep in mind that when you're uncomfortable, that usually means that you're outside of your comfort zone, and that's where growth happens. So just give it a shot. What do you have to lose? So I light the sage. Let me move this out of the way. So as you can see, these both have been loved and used. This one very much so. But basically what you'll do is you can light it over top of a gas stove if you have it. I'm a little more taken aback by fire. I'm not a huge fan. I appreciate what it does, but I get very nervous. So I use the lighter, and I continuously just let the flame go over top of the sage or the Palo Santo, anything you're using, and you just wait until the whole tip of it is engulfed in flames, and then you blow it out. And what will happen is, the smoke will waft, and little pre-warning is it smells a little bit like BO. So it's not the most pleasant smell, at least in my opinion, but it doesn't last very long, and it has such a greater purpose that, I don't really mind any of that. I don't even really notice it anymore. I hope my house does not smell like BO, though. Palo Santo actually has a little bit of a sweeter, more aromatic smell. So you can use that. It has the same effect. But so you're going to light it. You're going to walk around. I usually start with myself. So what I do is I light the sage, and then I go over all the parts of my body. And, I just let the smoke billow all around me. And I just consistently am visualizing the smoke getting into every cell, every, inch of my body, and I watch it in my mind's eye getting rid of all of that negativity. So like engulfing it and then neutralizing it so that it's gone. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're doing it with your house, with crystals, with anything, with yourself. But I want you to also be aware that your shoes carry energy. Your materials that you're using, the clothes you wear, everything, every single thing that you can think of Doesn't matter how small, it holds energy. So in this particular, wherever you're doing it, if you can do it outside for, the full moon or new moon rituals, that is the best place that you can do it. On the new moon, you won't be able to see the moon in the sky. On the full moon, if it's a decent night, then you'll be able to see it. And I don't know if you guys saw, but last night the moon was crazy. It was completely clear and it was so big and beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. So I haven't seen yet tonight. I saw clouds, over top. But either way, you know that it's there. We all know that it's there. So if you can, get a little space outside, you would still do the same thing, just sage the area, and then, you would just kind of sit. What I do is I take a second and I say a prayer of intention. You can use any notebook for this, any pen. It doesn't need to be like a special thing. You can use a scrap piece of paper if you wanted. And basically what I do is when I open the prayer, I'm thinking about a gut level release. So you're letting go. You're basically clearing everything that is no longer of use to you and is not bringing you any positivity in your life. And you're asking to release it to the universe for your highest good and the good of those around you, and with love. It's pretty much that simple. So, you meditate, you just take a second to focus on your breathing, and you just kind of clear the chaos and give your mind a break and allow yourself to listen to what you hear, what comes up in your mind. Because if you listen, you'll know exactly, whether it's in your heart, whether you hear it in your own voice, no matter what, it will come up, whatever it is that you're hanging on to, that, it would be your best decision to let it go. Now, you're going to write each and everything down. There's no rhyme or reason. You can write it sloppy, whatever. The bottom line is, it's the fact that you're sitting with yourself. You're truly thinking about everything that you can clear away to bring in the new. Okay. So, once that is done, you're going to read it out loud. And at the end, this is very important. So you want to consecrate the ritual. And basically what that means is it doesn't need to be anything crazy or fancy, or, you can make it crazy and fancy if you'd like, but that's completely up to you. But basically what I do is, so let's see what I have here. So you offer yourself to the universe. You write everything you want to let go of, and then you ask to release these things from your heart, mind, body, and spirit. And then you say your own little prayer, and then you send it away with love and light. And that's pretty much it. And you just say, so it is. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely important though, because you don't just want to stir up all of these, feelings and these things that can sometimes be painful. Like you might start crying as you're writing these things out. I know that I did the first time, especially. Like that was really cathartic, I think. I wrote down everything that I could think of, because Jimmy was right. I had so much inside of me that I had carried for so many years, and I didn't even realize the weight that it had put on my shoulders until I let it go. There was a relationship at the time. It was my first love, and I truly didn't think that I could ever let go of this person, no matter how toxic, no matter anything. I truly thought that at any given time, day or night, if this person came back into my life, that I would go back. And I knew that it wasn't good for me, but I was honest with myself about that, and I knew that it was something that I wanted to let go. And when I did this ritual, I didn't even understand that it had worked until that person showed up on my doorstep after a very long time. And this person is and was married at that point. And I remember just looking at them and being like, I'll always care and like want what's best for you, but I was not in love with them. It completely had taken all of this stuff out of everything, out of my system in general, mind, body, soul, and spirit. So that was the evidence that I needed to then do this, every month. And obviously, as you keep going along, there's less and less that you usually need to release, but it's still a good practice to stay Because like I said, what is the worst that can happen? At the very least, you're bringing this stuff to the surface so that you can be aware of it. And then once you're aware, you have the option whether you want to continue to keep doing these things or to keep holding on to this, or whether you want to release it and make room for something better. And I think that's the beauty in it, because at its core level, that's pretty much what it is. But on a deep spiritual level, so much more can come from this once you get into, your own practices and you start to kind of open your mind a little bit. So this is the beginning step to opening everything up. And then this moon specifically is the harvest moon. So this is actually is this the second? We have 2 full moons this month, which is not normal, I don't think. For the most part, it's usually the full moon in the beginning of the month, and then two or so weeks after is usually the new moon. And the new moon starts the new cycle, which then you can set your intentions and the things that you want to manifest into your life. And we'll do that as well once that comes along. But so this is the harvest moon, and then the next one is on Halloween, which is October 31st, and that is the hunter's moon. So, I mean, you could go so deep with this stuff. It really, truly is. I love it because I love learning, and anything that I can kind of dive headfirst into and just like take all of this in, I'm all about it. And yeah, I've done that with this. So this is also an Aries moon. Let me refer to my notes so that I don't go off on another tangent, because I'm good for that. All right. So, all right. The closest full moon is the harvest moon, and it's the closest one to the September equinox. So that is when the autumnal season comes in. So in many senses, this is the final full moon of the season, as well as the culmination of energy. Before the seasons change, we fully embrace the new. So with this full moon, we harvest and claim everything that we have learned and grown through, as well as embrace the new for the next season to come. So that is basically the reason that it got the name the harvest moon, was because the summer, the farmers would be pretty much working from dusk till dawn, and the days are longer, so they were, completely empty by the time the harvest moon came about, and it would give them a little bit more time to get their crops and, to harvest everything that they had just grown from that season. It gave them a little bit more light, but the darkness was coming. And then, through the next few months, this is when, it's a time of rest. It's a time of rejuvenation. So basically we're now reaping everything that we've sown over the past, summer, spring months. And so now it's time to kind of watch all of that flourish. And if you have been mindful and trying to, be the best version of yourself that you can be, then you're going to reap the fruits of your labor at this time. So this is the best time to complete projects, clean your inner and outer spaces. So, whether you're doing like a sweep through your house, getting rid of anything you don't need, any clutter, as well as emotional clutter. So, we tend to kind of harbor all of this stuff on the inside, and I think I will forever call it funk, so that's what I'm going to refer to it as. And this is a great time to just go in and release all of it, right? So anything that's weighing you down or holding you back, we let go of. And the next cycle is for renewal, transformation, and inner growth. So let's see. And of course I wrote it like on a whole bunch of different pages that didn't make any sense, because why wouldn't I? I ran out of room, so I just kind of was getting in where I could fit in, All right, so this is a time to go inside of ourselves and find out who we are now, what we truly value, and what we want to create come this new season. We can receive clarity about that right now, so we can take advantage of all the things that will help us moving forward. The full moon is a very powerful time to set intentions, and it has the potential to deepen your spiritual growth. So embrace everything around you as you set up for a spiritual divine intervention. So this is a good time to really, if you haven't really gotten into meditation or you haven't really taken that 5, 10, half hour, that you can just kind of focus on you and getting back to your center. I know things are crazy. We have the COVID stuff going on, so a lot of the kids are either fully online or, doing the hybrid thing. But, the more, okay, so in general, right, what is the first thing that, if you're on an airplane and you hit turbulence, what's the first thing that happens when the oxygen mask falls down? It says, put your oxygen mask on first, right? So what that means is you can't help anybody else until you are taken care of first. So it's time now to be a little bit selfish. I'm not saying, lock yourself in a bathroom for, 2 hours as you do a whole beauty routine while your kids are running rampant and God knows what is happening. That's not what I mean. It's more about, just understanding that while we are here for the people that we love and our responsibilities and the things that we signed up to do, we are also put here for so much more. We're meant to be happy. We're meant to be living our lives. And at the end of the day, if you don't start to take that time for yourself, that's when we really start to get bogged down and just, you're kind of just like trying to walk through a snowstorm that is, up to your waist, and you're just kind of trudging along through life, just existing and trying to get to the next day and the next day. And I'm here to tell you that that is no way to live. We're only here for a specific amount of time, right? So why not have balance? Why not look for a way to make yourself a priority, have all of your responsibilities and your kids and, all of the things that you need to do and that you also love to do. But, everything is balance. That's what it comes back to time and again. So if you don't have balance, no matter what it is going to feel overwhelming and you're going to feel sick of it. So small doses, all of it, you do what you can every day. You give 100% and that's all you can do. So with that being said, I want to go into the variations of the different things that you can do during this. So like I said, when you first start out, what I was instructed to do, let me move my pendulum here. This is just a plain white candle, Villa Blanca. You can find it at a dollar store. You can get fancy if you want to. But basically, I use this because it's just a blank slate. So it's for clarifying. It is for, setting your intentions, for manifesting, and just purity and light, right? So the opposite end of that would be a black candle. So you don't want a glass, case or anything around it. You just want a plain wax candle. And when you have this black candle and it's your first full moon ritual, what I was instructed to do and what I would impose upon you to do would be to get some oil. So it could be baby oil. It could be, massage oil if you have the essential oils, whatever you want to use. But I want you to anoint it with a cross. And then I want you to take a paper clip, a safety pin, anything sharp. And when you've said your prayer of release, you want to release this for your highest good, and you want to release it from your mind, body, soul, spirit, everything, right? You take this candle, you take the paper clip, we'll say that for all intents and purposes, and I want you to carve every single thing that you want to let go of. You can abbreviate if you need to. I had to, because it's more for your soul clearing. It's not so much about reading it afterwards or, any of that. So I want you to literally carve every single thing that you want to let go of, and your soul clearing is going to be by lighting this candle, because the candle is going to burn and you're burning away all of the things that you want to let go of. And then look at, once the candle is burned completely. So if you do this indoors, you want to put a ring of salt around the outside and obviously put it in a fireproof container somewhere safe. I put it in my bathtub, I think. and I did the salt rim and made sure that I kept checking, because again, I said fire's not my best friend. So and then the next day I took a picture of, what was left in the wax. And sometimes you can get messages from it, sometimes you can look at it and see something, but there's usually something there that comes from it that you'll kind of intuitively know. And if you're just doing this, and you've done this before, you're just looking for the, not the easier way, but the more traditional way, you can just write it on a piece of paper. And as long as you write that consecration at the end, for the candle, I wouldn't worry about putting that on the candle because it's just not feasible. So as long as you say it and you're holding the candle and you're asking to release these things for your highest good and for the good of those involved, then you're good to go. But with the paper, I want you to have, whether it's like a frying pan that's fireproof, or if you're outside, that's a little bit easier because it can go into the grass or wherever you are. Because let me just tell you a funny story. I did this a little bit ago, and I had like 2 full sheets of paper. Some stuff was building. So I went to light it, and I know better. So I don't know what I was thinking. Thank God I have a tile bathroom floor, because that's where I was. Everybody else was asleep, so I was trying to be quiet, and I lit these 2 pieces of paper, and it went up like you would not believe. I mean, from the second that I lit it, it just completely went nuts, and I had a cup of water that I was drinking, and I just completely doused it. And so the bad part of this is, you need to be well prepared and have just, a normal healthy fear of fire, and just take precautions and you'll be fine. But the other thing that I wanted to say, the other part of that story is, you may notice that when something isn't burning that quickly, so for me, I wet the rest of the paper. There was like this much left, right? And of course, it's wet now, and I need to do this. You have 3 days within the full moon, but I'm impatient. So I sat there and I aired it out, and then I kept lighting. I aired it out and I kept lighting, and I'm not even kidding. It took probably like an hour for it to completely burn, but I wanted so badly to release this thing that was on the bottom of this sheet of paper that you couldn't have told me nothing. I was sitting there if it took days to burn this. So just pay attention. If there's something that you're burning away, and it kind of is burning around a set of words or something that you wanted to let go of, that you kind of know deep down that you're maybe not ready to let go of, or that you need to kind of do this a few more times to really, fully release it, just trust that it will be revealed to you. And if you want to use crystals, it's a great time under a full moon to charge your crystals. So charge, cleanse, whatever you want to call it. They are a little bit different, but basically, even if all of your crystals are completely cleansed because you saged them when you did your whole sacred space clearing, or setting, you could still put them out under the full moon because it's going to charge with the moonlight. So that is going to hold that vibration until the next moon. So trying to think if there's anything else that I left out. Surely there is, but as you can see, I have not a lot, but a decent array of crystals here, and I so badly want to get into all of this. It's just that it takes a little bit more time and homework to kind of go back into all of my notes and all of my learnings about each and every crystal, what they mean, what their intentions are, and kind of, give that knowledge to you guys and hope that it helps somebody. So I'm not sure if I'm leaving anything out. Hopefully I'm not. But yeah, I think that sums it up. So I know that it is late right now. It is almost 10 o'clock. So like I said, you have 3 days. So the night of the full moon, you have the next day, and then the day after that. So you have a 3-day period that you can do this. So, if you miss it, don't think like, oh no, I can't do it until the next full moon. You by all means can still do it within that 3-day period. So yeah, I hope that this is helpful for one of you, some of you, all of you, because I know that it really did help me. It's kind of where I started to take that little bit of time for myself and, for something positive that I I didn't have anything to lose. And what happened is I completely cleared all of that out of my way. And then I started being blessed beyond belief. And I can only attribute it to, doing the soul work needed to open up and be able to allow the good things into my life, because I was really good at letting all the bad shit in. So yeah, this is where my shift started to happen. So I wish you luck with everything, and I hope that you'll give it a try. And who knows, maybe this is where your journey starts. So yeah, please come back and tell me, if you decide to do it, or if you have questions or need anything at all. I am always here. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you watching. I love you all. Blessings, and I'll see you next time.